One of the questions I get a lot from people and that I think are on people's minds is this question of how do I know the Bible I'm reading is not missing books? How do I know we have the right books in our Bibles? And a lot of my work has been particularly on the side of the New Testament half of that. And people ask all the time, what about books like the Gospel of Thomas? And what about these other lost books in the Bible that we hear about from time to time in the media and archaeological discoveries? Those are really important questions, and Christians want to be reassured that the books in their Bibles are the ones they can trust and really rely on. The good news is we have great reasons to trust that we have the right books in our Bibles. One of the things I remind people when it comes to the compilation of our Bibles, particularly the New Testament, is how early it happened. We didn't have to wait till the 4th or 5th century to have a New Testament. Even as early as the 2nd century, Christians already had coalesced around a core collection of books that were very clearly the ones they viewed as coming from God. People will say, and you'll hear in the world out there, that there was no Bible till the 4th or 5th century and that Christians didn't have a New Testament until then either. And that's simply not the case. In the early church, we know that they had a Bible very early because they had an Old Testament from the start and they had a New Testament even by the 2nd century. The other thing I tell people to assure them about the books they have in the New Testaments is that we can trace those books back to the 1st century. And therefore, we can trace those books back to the time of the apostles. In fact, it's only the New Testament books when we talk about books in early Christianity and compare them to apocryphal books that come from the 1st century. We have a few books like 1 Clement that barely make it into the 1st century, but all the New Testament books are 1st century books. That should give us great assurance that that was written during the apostolic time period, and those are the books that we can trust. So in the end, I tell people, look, you can have great confidence that when you open up that table of contents, that these are the books that God laid down as a deposit for his church. And for generations, it's that church, the universal church, that's recognized that these are the books that we hear the voice of Christ in.